So let's just start with a big question. How do you actually breach a digital fortress? We're talking about a fortress that's protected by billions of dollars in security, some of the smartest engineers on the planet, and just layers and layers of defense. How do you get in?
Well, the short answer is you don't. You find a much simpler way in. Think about it like this. It's like a bank that spends all its money on these massive walls and impenetrable vaults, only to have some kid call the lobby, pretend to be from the cleaning crew, and convince the manager to just hand over the master key. You see? You don't pick the lock, you exploit the human who holds the key to the front door.
And that right there, that's the story we are about to unravel in our new multi-part series, The Identity Breach. We're going to take a deep dive into the rise of a new cybercrime supergroup and explore how they completely collapsed a corporate perimeter by going after the one vulnerability that security software can't patch: people. Us.
So what happens when the world's most notorious cybercriminals decide to stop working alone and start working together? Well, you get a completely new breed of criminal, one that just defies all expectations.
You know what's so wild about this is the history. The Cyber Safety Review Board, when they looked into this, they drew a direct line back to the 1983 movie War Games. It's the same story. Teenagers compromising some of the most well-defended organizations on the entire planet. But the difference today? This is no longer a game. This is a massive, for-profit criminal enterprise.
And this new breed of criminal, it wasn't just one person or one small crew. In 2025, 3 incredibly powerful, separate hacking groups decided to merge, and they formed something the world had truly never seen before: a cybercrime supergroup.
You had Lapsus, who were notorious for extortion. Then you had Scattered Spider, absolute masters of getting initial access. And then there were ShinyHunters, who specialized in massive data theft. And when they came together, they became Scattered Lapsus Hunters. Their strategy was kind of brilliant, really, a perfect division of labor to maximize the damage and, of course, maximize the profit.
And a lot of these attackers, they operate inside what's called the Com. It's this underground network of young people, some as young as 16, and they're all driven by 2 things: profit and notoriety. The FBI has been warning that this whole subculture is basically becoming a gateway into major cybercrime, and as we're about to see, they prove that the human firewall is the single biggest vulnerability in corporate history.
So, the big question is, how did they pull it off? Their method wasn't some complex, secret exploit. No, it was something way more fundamental. It was about turning our own psychology, and even our own security tools, against us.
It usually starts with just a simple phone call. It's a technique called vishing, where they just impersonate someone from IT. And if that doesn't work, well, they weaponize your own security. They launch what's called an MFA fatigue attack, just spamming you with notifications until you get so exhausted you just hit accept. They turn the very thing designed to protect you into a tool of annoyance and eventually surrender.
And if even that fails, they just pay for access. That's right. They recruit insiders for payments reportedly as high as $25,000 for a single digital key, just enough to get them inside the gates. For them, it's a small price to pay for the keys to a digital kingdom. And this is the fatal flaw in multi-factor authentication that they just blew wide open.
So this is the really crucial point here. They aren't finding tiny cracks in the digital walls. No, they are walking right through the front door, using the tools and the trust that are built into the system as their own personal weapons.
But here's the thing, getting in is only the beginning. Once they're inside, the attack spirals into something way beyond a simple data breach. It becomes a kind of psychological warfare.
See, they don't just steal your data, they amplify the chaos. They literally intrude on the victim's crisis calls and their Slack channels, listening to the defense team in real time as they try to figure out what's going on. They taunt them, they harass them, and they even dox security professionals, publishing their private info online, making the whole attack intensely personal and destructive.
And the list of victims they left behind, it reads like a who's who of the entire tech industry. They stole source code from Microsoft, they orchestrated that massive Salesforce data theft, and they committed an act of pure strategic sabotage by stealing NVIDIA's foundational code signing certificate, a move that compromised cryptographic trust for millions of people.
And then, in just an act of pure, unbelievable audacity, they put a company's fate to a public vote. They'd let their followers on Telegram decide which company's stolen data they were going to leak next. Just incredible.
This entire series of attacks, it forced a massive reckoning in the cybersecurity world.
It exposed this fundamental flaw in how we even think about defense.
Now, in our full series, we're going to profile Ray, who is the public face and the main technical admin who managed to turn this loose group of hackers into a coordinated global threat. The main takeaway is that the battlefield has just completely changed. The old model, of building a big digital wall around your company and then just trusting anyone who's inside, that is obsolete. The new model is called assume breach. It's a total shift to phishing-resistant authentication and a whole concept known as zero trust.
And zero trust is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. No one is trusted by default, period. It doesn't matter if they're inside or outside the network. Every single request for access gets verified, every single time. It's a direct response to attackers who don't even bother with the wall anymore. They just target the people inside it.
And that really leaves us with the central question of this entire series. It's the question that every single executive, every employee needs to be asking themselves right now. If your people are the new perimeter, how strong is your wall?
The front line? It's not the network anymore. It's your people. Make sure you subscribe so you can see the full story and dissect what might be the most economically consequential cyber attacks in recent history.